welcome back to Copperhead Customs. This one's going to be pretty cool. We're working on this Chrysler 300C V8 HEMI, and you will want to see what I do to it. So yes, welcome back. As I stated, this is an 08 Chrysler 300C, one of a few that we own. Now this one we did a full rebuild on. We bought it at auction and repaired it all. Now, if you're looking at the front there, it does look a little bit different than when you last would have seen it, as we've swapped grills because we picked up another one and it was white with a black grill. It looked stupid, so we've done some changing around of things. But anyway, that is beside the point. What we're going to do with this one is, the boss was going to keep this one as her car, but we've decided to move this one on, and we might keep the other one. We may move that one on as well. Any rate, so what's happening is, in the last video on this, you would have seen I replaced the rear hubs and raised the suspension. Now there is still a bit of a diff noise, bit of a whine in the rear end. I think it's coming from the diff. So in this episode, we will be replacing the diff center at some stage. It's ordered. We are waiting on it to arrive in the mail. Now we're also going to change the rear tail lights to these smoked out ones that we have. The reason being is we took those ones off of the white car and put a spare set I had on, but they're actually off of a 2010 and are slightly different. So we're going to put these smoked ones on the black car, the ones off of here on the white car. Yes, confusing, isn't it? Anyway, the best part of what we're going to do is not what I'm going to tell you now. We're also going to take these seats out of this one because they have the black diamond stitching in. We're going to put them into the white car as well. There's a fair chance we'll keep the white car. And put the standard seats into this one. All good condition and etc. Just the diamond stitching's pretty trick. We thought we'd keep that for the one we're liable to keep. Now, other than that, this car, mechanically, is near on perfect at that point. There's one thing we have to do with the dash. It has a little bit of a movement, so I just want to put a little bit of something in there to stop that moving. And I noticed yesterday that over where our VIN ID is, there's a little bit of underlay, yipper. That's right, a bit of underlay has got caught and is covering the VIN. So I just got to get something down in there, poke around hopefully, and slide that back so that the VIN is readable, because it just looks a bit dodgy. But the cool thing that we are going to do is we're going to work on the bonnet. Now, if you remember back to the original first episode of this where I painted this bonnet, a bug got into the bonnet and developed a little racetrack in the clear coat. I have sanded it, and I've just looked there. There's still a tiny bit, so I'll give it a bit more of a tickle. But we've pretty much got the racetrack out now. Now, at this point, I've just done that with 800. I haven't really burnt through anywhere, so we could potentially polish that up. But as you know, if you've watched the channel, we have been doing some trick paint work with pearls and laces and all this. Well, what I've gone and done is I've gone and bought all this fancy stuff, all these different tape sizes and laces and metal flakes and candy paints and all of these stencils and patterns and all this sort of malarkey to do some pretty crazy paint jobs. We're going to do a few motorbikes, etc. in the future. And I've been actually watching a lot of it on the tube, yes, right, on the YouTube, and learning how to do some of this stuff. And it's actually, I'm actually, the brain's like going, I'm enjoying it. So anyway, we're going to do something on this. Now, my plan was to paint this silver with some hardcore metal flake and then come in with some black, do a crazy pattern and do some black over the top, maybe a little bit of black candy even, and just have it sort of a silver and black version. But what I'm thinking now is, reason being is I'm having a few issues with the metal flake, getting the metal flake out of the gun knife, so I may have to buy a bigger gun, or maybe I'm just getting my mix wrong or whatever. So I would like to do some more trial and error with my metal flake. So what I'm thinking on this one is leaving it black and then using some different coloured pearls mixed in. Now on another car we put some plum pearl and mixed it in with some black, and it made this gorgeous purple pearl. So I'm thinking something like that. And whether we use some candies, we have all of those candies, whether we mix up some candy and do it with some candy or whatever. But yes, we'll mask out a crazy pattern, pretty crazy pattern, And then instead of going like the silver and coming over with the black and then the coloured candies, we're going to go black base, then we're going to come over the top of the black base with some coloured pearls and candies. So we're going to do like some lace patterns, some different stencil patterns, some different techniques, masking, unmasking, all this sort of stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. You might actually learn something that you could do on your car. Now, remembering, self-taught, backyarder, but we're going to try to come up with some crazy little paint work on this. Hopefully it can just bump the price up a little bit, and I think we'll do it, like I said, in maybe purples and blues sort of colours, and it'll just sort of be subtle. So it'll still be it'll be black with all these little subtle hints of pearl through it, coloured pearl. Fingers crossed it turns out. If it looks like crap, we'll just sand it down and we'll start again. But I think it should look pretty good. So we'll have a pretty crazy pattern. We'll do some lace. They'll have different panels, as per se. We'll have some lace work done in some, and some shades off, and some airbrushing, and then there'll be other, I've got all these little stencils and templates of all different patterns and techniques and all this stuff that they do. So we're going to do that to this. We're kind of doing it back to front because we're doing black base and colour on top, but fingers crossed it works. I have seen some bikes done this way, black base, and they use candies on them and they look pretty trick. So as you can see, I've already sanded down the bonnet and it's all flat, pretty much ready to go. We might give that little racetrack, there's one little piece left. We'll just give that a little bit more of a tickle. We've got the masking tape on the edges already, so we just got to go get our drop sheet, throw our drop sheet over, boom, cut out our bonnet, start masking up our pattern, and then that will probably take a majority of tomorrow to finish masking up our pattern. Then we will start painting and see what happens. So once we've done that, like I said, we've got to do the seats, fix the dash, the VIN plate, change the diff, hopefully we get rid of the wine, everything else in the car is good, do the bonnet, clear it, tail lights, job's done, on the market, get good money. Hey, what do you reckon? You reckon we can pull that off? Anyway, let's stop talking and let's see how we go. So, this video is going to be in a two-part series of this Chrysler. We are not going to fit it all in one. It's all way too much work. So, what we'll do is in the first part, we'll quickly do those tail lights as a quick little job. Then we'll basically concentrate on what we're going to do to the bonnet, and that, let me tell you, you really want to see because it turns out absolutely amazing. Okay, and then in part two we'll do the seats, we'll do the dash, and we will do the diff. Then the car should be ready to put on the market. Fingers crossed we'll get good coin for it and that it turns out beautiful. So with all that said, sit back and watch part one and look out next week for part two. Oakley dokley. So, tail lights, we've just taken the ones that were on here off and put them on the other car. I'll show you that in a second if you want. Now, these are the ones that we just took off the other car. So this was my spare set. Now, as you can see, they stick out here, okay? Now, the other car doesn't have the wing, right? So if we go around to this side, these are the original ones that were on the black car, but these are the same shape as what was on this car, okay? So as you can see, they're thin and they match the boot lid there. Now I think around 09, 010, they slightly change the shape of the boot lid, I think is what happens, and they square it off a little bit. So when I had these on the white car, these ones, this little corner was visible, as you can see, okay? Now they look silly, but on here, they go out with the wing, so potentially pass on this. Now when you come in from the side, they do stick out the bottom, but so does that one. And then they're up there and it just fades away a bit. So don't know. So we'll stand back and we will have a bit of a look. Okay, so we'll have a little look at what we think. So I think the black ones look pretty cool. Like as in, it's probably not what I would do. Now these have got this, whatever, I don't know, Nike bikey thing, YL or something, Estee Lauder, or I don't know what it is. La Vie Laurent, or I don't know, some stupid designer brand. But anyway, and we'll go have a look at the white one and I'll tell you that, it had that all over the roof and anything. But at any rate, so there's the standards, okay. But on here, they're passable, I think, on there. But the black ones do look okay on this. So I think we'll put the black ones on. I think that looks a bit nicer. I think, you know, black lights on black car. See, it sort of suits it. Black lights on a white car. I don't think suited it. So we'll put them on for now, put them back in the cupboard. Now, if you've never done it, they're very, very simple, very simple. There's these three here. They're like little plastic wing nuts, basically. I'll open the boot and we'll show you. We might as well quickly do it, because it takes literally 5 seconds. As you can see, we've got these. So one's on this side. When we pull this back, there's that one's the one from the outside. Then there's one up there, and there's one up the top there, and the one plug. Boom, the little red tabs for the plug. Like, seriously, it's a 10-second job. So I'll quickly do that. Maybe we'll go have a quick look at the white one as well, so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so there is that done. Simples, simples, simples. And I think that looks pretty good, yes. Now, before we go up the top we'll just show you what's going on in here. These are the seats we're going to swap around, just so you can see what's going on. So they are just the Chrysler seats, but I'm pretty sure this has been done aftermarket. I'm pretty sure that is not factory. Who tell me if I'm wrong. I have actually seen a cream interior with diamond stitching, so tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if that is, if someone knows if that is actually an option. But at any rate, we're going to pull them out, put them in the other car, and we'll just quickly zip around the other side, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the VIN. So yeah, the little VIN window, it's got a little bit of underlay. Yippa! Right, let's go have a look at the white one. Okay, so as you can see, this is the white one. Now, this is what happened is we took this one on trade for our wagon, yes? Plus this one plus cash. Now this has got 130,000 kilometres, but nearly identical to what the wagon had. It is the 5.7, and it had that stupid black grille in it, so we've put this nice chrome one in. It also has these nice 22 wheels, doesn't have the center caps, so I'm a bit bummed about that. We come straight to the back, as you can see now, those lights fit in really good. It had, this badge was all blacked out, so I got rid of that, made that back to chrome. It does have the tow bar, it's got a really cool exhaust system. The roof, it hasn't been polished, I haven't cleaned it or nothing yet. The roof had that same pattern in a wrap. The first thing we did was pull that off. That you can probably still see remnants of it, maybe. I can sort of see them in the glue residue, that YL. Stupid crap anyway. And it was on here as well, so we got that off straight away. We got rid of the black badges, got rid of the black tail lights, got rid of the black grille. Now it looks pretty classy, you must say. This has got coilovers all around. It's had all the front ends rebuilt, new hubs, the motors, everything's good. It's all just been serviced, shit like this. It's actually really good condition car. Really nice to drive. It does have a couple of little things that I've got to address, but overall it's a pretty good one. This door, pretty sure this door's been, something's going on with this door, but as you can see the seats are in good condition, need a good clean. It's got the big touch screen, it's got that diamond crap bejazzle shit that we want to rip that off and stick the dash down properly. But yeah, we got the big Android head unit. As you can see, it's filthy inside. We have to really give it a full scrub. We need to get the little plastic things that break there. It needs hood and boot struts, but other than that, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's good. It can stay low. This one can stay low on these roads. It's actually drivable. Okay, so if we're going to keep one, we're going to keep this one. But I think we're going to put it on the. I think we might put them both on the market. And there's also the front bumper here. It needs a clip. There's a few little things. It needs a really good cut and polish. Needs some. The roof, the sticky residue got off. It just needs, you know what we do, we need a few days spent on it. So with the no hubs, we've got that yuck looking, so we need to get in there and paint all that, and with the no center caps. So anyway, that's the white one. Now you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, to me, a white car with a black grille looks absolutely stupid. With a black rear badge, looked absolutely stupid. And the black tail lights made it look stupid in my eyes. Whatever, your taste, whatever, but those things on a black car, yes. On a white car, it just didn't look right at all in my eyes. So the chrome, I'm not, as you know, I'm not a chrome person. but much better. This door handle needs replacing. You should know, you good Chrysler people, that they store stuff up, so that one needs to be redone. Other than that, good car. That's not what we're here for. Just thought I'd quickly show you. You know what I'm freaking talking about all the time. And let's get back down there, do some more. Okay, so there's the car drop sheeted. Pretty simple stuff, so. Paint this side, see? I hope that means the paint we're putting on is this side. I'm pretty sure it is. I've done that wrong. Anyway, all I do is pull it over and just tie the four corners, and it pretty much holds. Now what we've done up the front here though is we've actually ran the tape with the sticky side up. We actually went around fat. I didn't have any fat stuff. And now it's all pressed on, so now we just get our blade, we come and cut it, peel that piece off. It's all masked up, see, all done. Pretty simple. I'll quickly cut this off with the blade, and then might look at putting a little bit of our pattern down. Oakley dokley. So hopefully it probably won't make any sense at all, but that's kind of what we're going to do. That won't make any sense to you because it's a big scribble, but if you look there, that is sort of what we're going to do. Now that's what I was going to do, silver and then black it all out, but we're going to do it kind of reverse. So it's a pretty crazy pattern, but that is something like what we're going to mask up. Now what we do is every one of these lines is going to be a double line, a thick and a thin line, and then we just do all of these something different in each sort of panel, and it all gets shaded. So it will be like that, guys, but it will be done with just pearls. So it's all going to be black, and it will just be all of that done in pearls. So the lace pattern will just be like the purple pearl put in. All of the pin lines that we're going to do will all just have pearl, and all the shading will all just be done in pearls or candies, for argument's sake, probably maybe even candies, and then a bit of both, I think, and then some will be darker than others. Yeah, so I'll start playing around doing a little bit of masking. It's getting a bit late, so we won't do a real lot, but we'll get a couple of lines down and finish tomorrow, and see, hopefully we can get some paint down tomorrow, and hopefully it works. Okay, there's a little start. It's going to be very, very time consuming to do this, but that's how it is. A lot of these guys actually get these cut from like a sign shop, get them to cut it and stick it on and so forth. And if you watch the Mexican dudes, they're like guns at doing the lowrider graphics. Yeah, like that's where it sort of comes from. They'll just lay one side out, then they'll trace that, flick it over. But I've been watching this dude that does motorbike tanks. Now, he makes it look so easy, but it's a smaller surface. But he'll just do what I've done here, which is I actually measured it with the tape and then put it. So now, I don't know if I probably haven't quite got that. Oh, it's pretty close. It's probably not quite it's pretty damn close, I'll tell you. So it's good enough. Now, we've done this diagonal line on this body line. We may actually change it a little bit up from that to match him with our lines, you know what I mean? So anyway, we'll see how we go. It's going to take hours and hours and hours to get this design down, how we want it and how it's neat and all that, but we'll just plod along. So we use bits of tape to measure, other bits of tape to give you your gaps off, all of that. The other thing we've got to look at as well is when we peel it off, start peeling these off, some of them will be shaded. So as you can see here, we've got a bit of shading there, so we've got to make sure when at the end we may have to cut some bits or whatever, so that this line peels off, that line stays on top, so we can peel that away, that line. Does that make sense? Peel that line away, that line can stay, and we can shade on it. Yeah, so all those little fine details that will make it look really good or make it look average. So Lots to do, lots to think about, lots of taping, lots of straining of the eyes. But at the end of the day, hopefully it will look good. Anyway, I'm starting to get eaten by the mozzies pretty bad. As you can see, we're in the middle of winter here, hey? Middle of winter. You know what the temperature is today? 38 freaking degrees in Queensland. So that is, for you Americans, pretty much 100, maybe a touch over 100. It's the middle of freaking winter. 38 degrees in winter. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Dokey. So we haven't finished yet. We have got heaps more to do. So we've got a bit down, but yeah, we're getting there. Now we've still got 2 more patterns, you know, to put in up the top here. We got 2 more panels that are going in there, like curvy panels up in that section. One will do like a wraparound to look a bit like a scroll wrapping. Then there's another one inside that. So we've still got to do them. Then once we've done that, we've got to run around and double line everything. So we've got to run another little thin line next to all of these. Now this here at the front, so this will be misted with one of our colors. Then we'll lift. So say we did purple candy, right? Then when we lift, and we'll have 2 tones through there basically. There'll just be like a little misting of like 2. So these might get 2 mist coats. This might only get 1. Okay, and then like all of this will get shaded. Anyway, it looks pretty trick. Then what we've got to do is, once we've got all this finally laid out, we're getting close to that. Then what we've got to do is we've got to work out what we're going to put in each panel, i.e. this panel will have another little pin line on it, yeah? But then this panel might be a lace pattern, okay? This here is a panel that runs into this section. So this section here is one, boom, it flows here, and then it goes back up there, okay? So all of that all has to get painted in the same technique, okay? So whatever it is that we do. Some of them may just get shaded and it will just be the pin lines, and others will have something in. So we've got about 5,000 different lace patterns and doilies and all these different bits of material that will give us all these different designs. Plus I've got all these stencils. So we've got wood grain stencils, we've got snake skin stencils, we've got hexagons, we've got all sorts of stuff. Basically all of these sections will have a different pattern or technique done on them. Now also there may be slight variations in the purple. So what I'm thinking of is using a clear, some pearl, maybe the plum pearl. I think plum pearl and a bit of black will make a purple. So we'll have that as one in some clear. We're also going to use some purple candy as well. Then we may actually mix a bit of that together and just do some slight little variations of those purples for different panels. You'll see what happens when we do it. Then what I'm thinking of is, bear with me with all this. So I'm thinking purples is what I'm thinking. Purples, we could do blues, we could do purple and blue. We could Could do green, I don't think that would look real good. We could do some reds, like some candy apple, like a reddy, maroni, brandy type colours. Now, because we're putting them over black, they will get they'll be real cool looking colour. So like a red would come out like a brandy wine type. But what I'm thinking purples. I'm thinking purples, maybe a little bit of blue. What I'm thinking at the end though, is when we finished it, all the colour stuff, and we've unmasked everything, is I'm thinking of throwing, ready? I'm thinking of throwing some black candy over the top of everything. Probably only 1 or 2 coats. So what that will do is, in the dark at night probably, you won't even notice any of it. It will just look all black. But then when we hit a bit of light, boom, you're going to see all this purple underneath. So before we make a decision on that, we will see what it looks like with just all the purple down. And then if we think it's a bit too out there, a bit too bright, we'll throw some black candy down, which will like hide it and make it, what do they call that? Like murdered. They'll call it murdered. It'll be a murdered out graphic is what the word is. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with our masking so far. It is very, very time consuming. And if you've took notice of what I was doing, I'd basically use some tape as guides, but we'd get our pattern sort of down on one side that we were kind of happy with. Sometimes we would like even do a template of that, flip it. Okay, but like, so here we did the one curve where we were happy. Then we got the piece of paper and we traced that, cut it out, flipped it over here, and then followed it. Okay, we've done the same with our little spears. We've done a template of that spear, brought it over here, masked it onto here, done the template there. So it's kind of pretty close to being pretty well symmetrical. Okay, then we've got to do the same. We've got 2 pretty challenging little ones up to do up the back there, in there and there. So anyway, there's enough dribble. We're getting there. It actually nearly looks good in fluoro green, doesn't it? Hey? All right, I've got to go to town. I'm going to get some more thick masking tape because we're nearly out of that. And we're going to need a ton because as we paint panels, we'll have to mask up other sections of this work as well. So it's very, very time consuming. I think I've been on it for 3 or so hours this morning, maybe longer. First one we've done, I think it's going to be wicked. I think it's really going to look cool. Just our design looks wicked, let alone what my plan is on painting it. All right, let's go get some tape. Oakley dokley. It is the next day. Our camera went flat yesterday Arvo, and then it didn't charge and whatever, it got dark on us, so we couldn't quite finish. We got pretty close. You can see I've done a pretty crazy pattern, so we'll just run through it. I haven't quite finished. I've got one more bit to do. So as you can see up here, it's like a little curvy piece, and to make it more visible of what it was, I put these horizontal lines in to show that it is actually a curvy piece. So that panel will basically just get some shading done on the lines, I think, and we'll probably put a bit of extra shading in through here, and we'll just sort of shade all that. So that's what we'll do with that one. We've got this panel which goes over the top of that, so this is sort of showing that it's doing that a bit as well. And then we've got the 4 stripes on there. Now what my plan is there is we'll put some sort of a pattern in there, a bit of lace or something, and then it will remembering all of wherever the lines are, it gets a bit of shading done, yeah? So all of this will all get shaded. Basically aim for the center and you get a bit on each side, okay? So all of this, no matter what the pattern is at the end, every line gets shading done around it. So that panel will get a pattern put in it, and then the shading around the lines, the pin lines, then those lines will be plucked up, and there'll just be these 4 little plain black stripes throughout the pattern. So the same on that one. Again, here we've got this is what we've still got to mask, is the scroll on that. So that's what it looked like before. And I just thought putting a pattern on that, we'd never get to look right. So I've done the straight lines to really emphasize that that's 3D. We actually put a couple of little stripes on here. So this will be the same. This will have something done to it. One of our things. I'll just keep saying lace, but it might not be. It might be honeycomb pattern on them. And then the same. These will be just these 2 black. So then along here, this pattern, this panel here, is the same as this panel, which is these 2 little bits as well. This little piece there, and then all of that will all be the same technique. This one here will be the same as what we do here. That one will be another technique, and this bit here will be the same. So this bit, and that bit will all be the same technique. So it's a very full on. We could also do this panel can be its own technique. This panel is its own technique. This is its own technique. So it's all pretty full on. And then the bottom here with all of this, like I've said, I think I said earlier, this will just get like misting done as it is. Then we'll come through and we'll pull all of these off, and we'll mist some more on with the purple. So this will just be like, this will basically just have 2 tone. It will be black, but it will have two variations of purple, like one darker, one lighter. So that one will be done with some candy, definitely. One of these panels or stripes may be done with a bit of a solid color. We've got hundreds, like I said, hundreds of different. That's what I'm going to do in a minute, is go through all of my laces and stencils and patterns and everything, and work out what I want to put where, and then we start painting. So it's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy pattern. It should look insane. It actually looks really good just like that, actually. Let's see what we can pull off. Oakley DI Oakley. So this is where we're at. We have wax and grease removed it. We've tack clothed it, but this is what we've masked these 3 panels up. Now they're kind of all the same layer. Now we could do them as 3 separate individual pieces, but I think they'll look pretty cool all the same. Now we're gonna have to do them separately though, if that makes sense, because the tablecloth that we've got here is not going to, it's a Peter Lace tablecloth, whatever it is not going to line up how I want it on all 3 panels at once. So I'm trying to flick this out. So we've got this one that's got a really, really nice big pattern. Now with your lace, there's all different ones. See, so this is this big huge flower, yeah? So if we come in here quickly, I'll just show you some. I've got tons and tons and tons, okay? But you have like lots of different intricate patterns. This one's like little, you know, little, I don't know, Dutch things, and then there's all the, you know, there's so many different ones. But if we look at this black one, see, that's all just little. So they're good for certain things, yeah? So for, you know, a little 2-inch panel, one of them would work really well. But on this, a big piece will look way better. So I'll line this up where I want it exactly. Don't mind the helicopter. We've actually got fires. You can see it here. It's very smoky, hazy looking. Yeah, we've got some fires not far away. We're fine, but they're stoked the other side, I think. Been doing some burn-offs, but someone's been an idiot. So it's actually winter, middle of winter, you know. It's, as you can see, I'm sweating. It's like 35, 38 degrees, ridiculous. So like 100, over 100 American Fahrenheit in the middle of winter. So yeah, she's gonna be a hot summer, this one. So at any rate, back to what we're doing is we'll line this up nicely. So we get that. We'll just try to keep this just out of it. And we'll bring it, but I want this flower as much as I can, I think. So we'll just set that up so we get that. We're probably not going to get really the leaves. We'll try to set that flower where we want it. We'll get them running off, and then, because I think if we were to watch the dodginess of the camera work, we could actually nearly pull that off. That actually isn't too bad there. All right, I'll have a play with this anyway, of how we want to set it up. Now what you'll do is, once you got this happy, you might just put a couple of bits of tape around, try to get it a little bit taut so that it's not lumpy, and then we'll start throwing some paint down. Now I've mixed three already colours. So what we've done is we've got our candies, Spray Chief candies. Okay, so we're using Candy Apple Violet. There you go, that's what we're using. And we've got, this is called Stabilizer Additive. So apparently that's what we use. It's like basically like a base coat clear, okay? And see, it says base coat there, boom, see that? Base coat, but apparently this Stabilizer Additive is probably the one to add for doing your candies and stuff, is what my paint guru is telling me, of his brand anyway, Concept. So what we've got here, this is our candy and base coat. We haven't put any thinners in yet. So that's our candy with just base coat. So that's our transparent colour, yes? Then we've done this one here, which is reduced black, plum pearl, is it? Yeah, Special Effects plum pearl, which is like that colour. So that and some reduced black gave us this. And then we actually added a little bit of base coat clear, and we've added a little bit of the candy in there as well, because it was nice, but I wanted it a bit more in depth. So if we look at this, it's pretty cool, yeah? So that's that one. So that's the one we're going to do on that first bit of lace. Now that should still, we've got to thin all these down yet, but that should still come through quite thin. It won't actually just be covered. It won't look like that. It will actually be quite, you'll have to put like 3 or 4 coats, I'd say, to get what we want. And the the candy itself is, as you know, completely see-through, so that will change eventually. Now, this is another one. So this one here is the plum pearl, a little bit of black, a little bit of coarse metallic, base coat coarse metallic in it, a little bit of clear, and a little bit of candy. Yep, this one's a contraption. So this one has a real high sparkle, and as you can see, it's just a different shade. I'm trying to get it, it won't focus on, yeah, there you go. You can see the pearl and sparkle in there. So we've got 3 different shades. and we know the candies will do its own thing. So the candy will be trial and error of what it does. Now we've got that bit of lace we're going to do first, then we'll carefully unmask that and we'll keep going. I've pulled some templates out, different templates. As you can see, we've got tons of different lace patterns to do in different areas, and I've pulled a couple of different templates out that we may use. We might get the airbrush out or whatever. So we've got that one. I've got heaps of these. We've got just some circles. We've got like a zebra wood grain type. We've got a snake skin. I've done the honeycomb. That's like an animal print. And we got like fish scales, fine ones, and fish scales, big ones. So there's some different patterns we may throw around. They were the ones I sort of thought we'd use, and we'll probably use maybe another piece of lace. I've got some other things. We'll see how we go. We may do as well. We may do some, we'll see how we get going. Once we start doing it, my artistic brain will fire up, and we may actually do some other little ghost. I'm thinking of trying to do some ghost stuff underneath other stuff, if that makes any sense. You'll have to just wait and see. So anyway, we'll get this sorted, and we'll start it, and hopefully it works. Okay, we are back. So, this is where we're up to. We have done lots. Just like a square block pattern we put onto the stripes. And we did that with the colour. Then it's had so many coats of the candy. And then it was peeled off. And we had a little misting of the colour and then more candy. As you've seen, all of our... Well, we'll just keep going with the patterns. We did like an animal print there, which runs along this one as well, but because of the shading you don't see a real lot of it. And back over to here, we did a snake skin here. I think that turned out pretty nice, a snake skin with our stripes. And then the same, we've misted the colour over there. This was our bit of lace we did. Over here we did like a circle pattern in that little one. Over here we did zebras. And that turned out pretty good. That's our original bit of lace and our black bit of lace, and the same wool, exactly the same wool on the other side. Now, so we started running around the edges with the colour and the candies, and we just kept building it up, building it up, building it up. As you can see now, we've built it up that much that these have changed. But when it's wet, all of the colours are, there's a lot of different variations in the colour. It's pretty hard to pick until it will gloss. Okay, now what we also did was we peeled all our lines back and then came back in to like shade them all. You can see like there. Okay, so we went around and did that everywhere. We actually did a bit of shading in there to make that look a bit more three-dimensional. Now we had a couple of stuff ups with the tape, and I think I may know why. If you remember when I flattened this out, well, I don't know if you, I flattened it out with 800 to get rid of the trash. I'm not thinking, it should have been sanded at 4, like scotchied with like 400. So maybe it just wasn't quite roughed up enough, but like it's stuck, but we just had some lift. We had some bits lift, so we lost a little pin line there. We lost a little bit there. We've lost a little bit here. And we lost a little piece here. And a couple of little uglies just there. So, and I was just ripping it up though at that stage, just didn't even think. After that, then I really started concentrating on pulling the lines, pulling the tape lines really nicely. And I don't think I had any more issues once I started doing it nice and gingerly. But at this here, I would just grabbed it and didn't think anything of it that it would stuff up. So, and we lost the tip up here. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue now. When I put wax and grease remover over it to clean it, it really lifted the colours, like to the point where it's passable to leave as it is, like cleared, I think. But I think it's really gonna, I think it's gonna be too bright and stand out a bit too much. I think it looks absolutely amazing. But remember, we're just doing a bonnet. I think it may be a bit, I don't know. I think we could leave it, but what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put black candy over the top now to dull it a bit. Well, not dull it, but just to, they call it murdering it out. So what it will do though is, because it's see-through, and the black candy over the top will basically make it that it's certain lights you won't really see it, and then when lights hit it on different angles, it will pop like bang, and it will look like insane, and it will look like this. But then on a different angle, it may just look black. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do one, maybe 2 coats. I've got it all mixed up ready. I'm just going to run the tack cloth over this quickly. But this is it. Now remembering this was all done reverse. So it was a bit of a challenge because, you know, we didn't... Oh, we also got, if you can see up close, we also ran the airbrush with some black in and ran the edges with a bit of black as well. All of the edges didn't just get shaded. We actually put a bit of black with the airbrush around everything just to darken it a little bit better. So, I don't know. And like, I think you can tell this panel's... I think you can tell that's all curvy. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. So anyway, there's a lot going on. It's pretty cool, I think. So, well, probably won't be everyone's cup of tea, but I know I know something. You know what I know? I know that when I finish this, because we're going to sell this car, see? Because we're going to keep the white one. I can really guarantee you when I finish this, the boss is going to say, no, I want to keep the black one now. Almost guarantee it that she's going to want to keep this. Anyway, let's throw some black candy down. Hopefully we don't put too much on and just bury it. That's the issue with the black candy. You put too much on, we won't see any of this. So it's getting very late. So it's a lot of work. We could ruin it. Anyway, we'll just go ginger ginger. I'm only using the touch-up gun. I'm not putting the big gun on. So enough talking. Let's tack cloth it, paint it. Okay, this is what we have done. So, as you can see, it's looking really, really black now. Hopefully we didn't go too much. The light really isn't helping us a lot, is it? Yeah, we've actually threw quite a bit down now. I've got a feeling that maybe, I don't know, maybe that candy that I've got, I've been putting it with clear, with the base coat, yeah? Maybe I'm not meant to. Base coat clear. Maybe it's already sprayable, because at the last little bit I put on, it's actually started to really change it, was just with some thinners added. I've got to thinking maybe I haven't got concentrate. Maybe I've already got it. It's already mixed, what I've got. But anyway, whatever. We've definitely darkened it up. And then we ran these front edges. This front edge I actually put on pretty heavy, and the side edge I put on pretty heavy, because you know we've got black and black there. So I thought that might be better to blend it off a bit better. So that's all we're doing. We'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. If it was like today, I don't want a clear coat. If it's like today, we've definitely darkened that up. That's really dark now. So now when that pops with clear, boom, that should actually look really cool. And in some lights it will be really noticeable, and other lights it might actually black out a little bit. So we'll see. I think that was a good move. I think it was. Anyway, you can't really see a lot in this light. So with all that said, big day. I'll see you tomorrow. Oakley dokley. So the last thing you've seen was I threw down the black pearl. Yes. Since then, it was a really shit day yesterday for wind and stuff. But late in the afternoon, it died a little bit. I threw a few coats of clear down. Now, as you can see with the black pearl, it's really changed it up. Different lights it will look completely black, like here, but then when it comes out in the sun it will really pop. As you can see, it looks pretty insane now. That will get even brighter in direct sun, but I don't know if you can tell, there is so much trash in this. There is, like that's sanding dust, but there's so much trash in it. Ridiculous amounts. Yeah, yesterday was just a pretty crap day for painting. But as you can see here, you can see the purple now. Like I said, in direct sun, this will pop even harder. It actually looks really cool, hey guys. I wouldn't say it's 100% perfect. Like I said, we had a few little issues with some of our taping, but I don't think especially seeing that we've ghosted the black pearl over the top, I think you hardly notice it now. I think we had a few things that could be, okay, so it could be, like I said, the sanding, but I don't actually think it was. What I think it is I think I thinned my pearl down too much, so I ended up putting too many coats on, and I had too big an edge, so I had too many coats of product on, and I've been watching some Knorr, and they don't put a lot of paint. I put like 10 times more paint than what they're doing. It would be hard with the way I've done this. I've done this a bit like left of field, but like some of them would do, they'd actually put a bit of silver down, then they put their pearl over the silver. Yeah, it's all a bit of a grey one with our little patterns that we had. Like, it would have been nearly impossible to do, so it's going to work. So this half the bonnet, as you can see, is all flat. So we've sanded this down. We've got rid of a lot. 95, 98% of the trash is gone, and we're getting close. As you can see, we've got most of the pattern is flat. We've still got some line edges, but they're starting to get there. Okay, like here we're starting to hit. Now we only put, like I said, we actually put one really light coat, one medium, and then one real heavy. One medium to heavy and one real heavy coat. So I don't want to go too crazy and burn it through. And we're going to add at least between 2 to 4 coats. I'm going to mix, I'd say. 2 to 4 more coats of clear we're going to put on. So this side I'm pretty much not going to sand much more on. We'll sand this side. So I started doing it with wet and dry, and then in the end I just went to the dry sandpaper. 800 we're using. So yeah, I think we'll maybe just touch up a couple of little edges here and there, and we'll just go over this half one more time. Then we just want to blow and clean everything. You can see we've got some, we've got sanding residue along the edges. Just want to blow all this off, clean it all, wax and grease, de-dust it, all of that. We're going to have to anchor it's very windy again today. It's been really crap weather this week. So we're going to have to go address this pretty quickly before we lose our cover. Get under there. Once they get air under them, they can be a bit painful, aren't they? Put this under here. I might throw this mat on. Like that. So, at any rate, we'll sand this other half up. I don't know if you can see the amount of trash in it or not. It is absolutely covered. It doesn't really show it up. The camera hides a hell of a lot on painting. I always try to show you the good and the bad with the paintwork. A lot of people won't on the tube. They'll go, oh, it's like glass. Yeah, and it absolutely looks disgraceful. So generally, if you see a few bits of trash in the camera, these are all, they're not trash, but if you ever see trash in the camera on someone's video, here, there, if you ever see any bits of trash at all, the part is covered. Okay, generally if you see like 5 bits of trash in an area, that part has got thousands. They are covered. The camera hides so much of the trash. Okay, I really try to zoom in and get the camera right in on the paint to show you exactly what it looks like. I could, from here, it looks like glass, doesn't it? Oh, look how great my paint, I'm such a great painter. Hey? And in real life it looks like absolute turd, because you can see all the pattern, the lines, all the trash, you know what I mean, the peel, everything. So the camera will hide a lot, and there's a lot of people that are absolute crap painters on YouTube that make out they're great. So we try to show you right in on it. As you can see, this is flattened out, no trash at all. So you can see that little nib there. There's one, there's a little low there. That's water, but you can see I've got rid of all the trash now. You can see there's a couple of little bits in the low, but we haven't got to that yet. There's a little blemish, not trash. See, there's a piece of trash that's half sanded out. There's another one, half sanded out. There's another one, half sanded out. See, but there, look, you know, oh, but it's so good. You know what I mean? Here, there's a couple more bits. You can see how much trash was in this. These are just the ones that are still in there. They could have a little bit more of a tickle. So a couple of them will give a bit more of a tickle. We'll do the other half. Won't bore you watching me sand all that. Get it all clean. I'll mix some clear. I'll put yours on. I'll shoot the clear. Let it set for the day, and we'll leave it till the morning. We'll sand it all again. Hopefully we get it all. We've got enough. 3, 4 coats. We should have enough to get that all dead flat. So what we want eventually is this all flat across the lines. So there's no edges at all. We'll then polish it. It will look like absolute glass, because it's going to have, well, it already had 2 coats, then we started putting our graphics over. Now so it's going to have like another, it's already had like 3 there, and it will have another, say 4, so it's going to end up with like 10, 12 coats of clear on that part over the base black. So it should look pretty deep and insane. So stay with the process. Trust me, once we get this in the sun, I think your jaws are going to drop at how this has actually turned out. Hopefully it looks good when we unmask it all, doesn't look out of place. And then we'll get on to some of the other parts of this. Hopefully our diff arrives soon, and we can do the diff. And hopefully, maybe by the end of the week, we've got it finished. Okay, I just wanted to call in quickly, so hopefully you can see much clearer on this how much trash is actually in here. So all of those little, they're all bits of dust or trash or fluff or whatever it is. Now, as I said, if you can see a few bits in it on camera, there is tons of it. And this is just a good way of showing you how much, as in the camera, we've seen a bit of it, yeah? But you didn't see anywhere near the amount that is in it. Just thought that was worth showing you, so I just sort of buzzed the top so that you could see all that, the amount of trash. There's like 1,000 pieces in there, just to show that don't believe everything you see on the camera, okay? Like I said, if you see some trash in someone's paint job on YouTube, it's covered, okay? It's atrocious in real life. So not that, you know, we can get this out, as you can see on this side, you know, it's pretty much all out. Now even here, this is all flat, you know, all we've got is the shiny bits are our lows. So as you can see, a lot more shiny there. We'll knock all that down, we'll get all that trash out, and then we'll put more coats on, like I've said, and we'll have to do it again because we'll get more trash, because we're painting outside, we don't have a paint booth as yet. So this is what happens, okay? So if you get trash, if you're using good quality paint, you got enough of it on there, or orange peel or whatever, you can get it all out, okay? Just means a bit more work, and then you got to polish it back up, okay? So don't stress too much about it. As long, your best bet is though, is now. See, we've put 2 coats on, we've got enough to sand on it, we can sand the trash out, and then we'll put more on. Don't go and bury all that trash into more, in more coats and more coats. And don't go putting, you know, 6 coats on and have trash buried in your first couple. The best to get rid of it. We'll go again, we'll get more trash, we'll get rid of it. Anyway, let's keep motoring. Welcome back. We are back, and check it out. You can see, you know, it's pretty blackish. Around here, you're probably not even seeing it as good. The light's not really popping off of it. It looks really good. Paintwork, impeccable. Hey, it's getting better and better, the paint. Bits of trash. It wasn't for the trash. This is basically, it's smick. Now, we have to sand down to eliminate our lines, yeah? So, but as in off the gun, orange peel finish, it's really, really good. Yeah, we got the trash in. The trash will eliminate as we sand to flatten our lines. We put basically 4 coats. We did a light coat, then followed that up pretty quickly with a heavy coat. Then we did another real heavy coat, and then a 3rd real heavy coat. So we had 3 real heavy coats and 1 light coat yesterday. So hopefully there's enough on there. We've just started sanding a bit here. So as you can see here, we basically have got rid of the lines. These ones here seem to be a bit deeper. So we'll just, hopefully there's enough on there to get it all down. If there's not, we'll give it another we can't quite get it, we'll give it a couple more. So let's sand this up. There was a few bits of trash in there. They've disappeared straight away. So like I said, these ones are just about gone. These ones are a touch deeper, but I haven't worked this as much as that. There was actually a low here, like a little dent, and you can see we've put enough paint on it that that low's disappeared. So if you remember, there was a couple of imperfections on this bonnet around this area, and they've basically, we've just been able to sand them out. So yeah, let's sand it all up. Hopefully we'll get it flat. So we're using 500 at the moment. We'll then change, once we get it like pretty close, we'll then go to like a, I don't know, we'll probably put the foam pads on and we'll go through the grits and we'll get it as fine as we can. It's better polishing. That's if we don't burn through. Then we'll polish it up, unmask it, see what it looks like. Okay, it's all flattened down. We did 500 by hand dry. We did 800 dry with the orbital sander. We then did 1000 foam pad with the orbital sander, a 1500 foam pad with the orbital sander, and a 2000 foam pad with the orbital sander. So it is pretty good. There's a couple here that I just, basically, I've had a gutful of it. And it's pretty good. You can still sort of feel them, but I don't know, I think we're okay. They're all flat, so that's as good as we're going to do it. So like here, see, you can hardly even see it, guys. It's really cool, eh? It is really cool. This black handy over the top. Potentially, we probably could have nearly gone one more, but it's just all the result you want of how dark you want it to go. So you can still sort of see this. Remember, in polish, this is going to pop. But you could have even gone a bit darker, I reckon, and even darkened it out more. We haven't even seen it in the sun yet. I definitely think it was the right move. I think it would have been way too bright without us doing that. At any rate, time to polish now, and then it's done. So, that's right. We're going to leave you all on a cliffhanger. With all of that said, you're going to have to come back and watch part 2 next week to see how good the bonnet turned out. And then what we'll do is we'll quickly get on and do the diff and the seats, get the car up for sale. So, if you enjoyed this, but hate me, give us a thumbs up. I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.